What is up, everyone? Bitcoin making some moves on the short term, as is other cryptocurrencies. I'm going to look at the Bitcoin charts on the micro, and then we're going to expand it a little bit and talk about the possibilities, the actual likelihood that Bitcoin may be trading at around $20,000 by September. What is up, everyone? Thanks for coming by Crypto Capital Venture. If you're here and not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button for Bitcoin updates that are totally worthwhile. So hit the like button as well and turn the notification bells on. Appreciate you coming by. Let's jump into the video. This is Bitcoin zoomed out on the charts. We're going to look at this in particular. This is an ascending triangle we talked about in the last Bitcoin update, the last Bitcoin video. Currently, we are trading outside. We broke through the upper trend line of this. Before we really jump into this video, I want to start just from a quick clip from that last video. We have potential ascending triangle in play within this symmetrical triangle. So if we want to see the path starting on a 6-hour chart for Bitcoin to trek its way up to this white trend line and break out of that huge symmetrical triangle, it really kind of starts right here on this very zoomed in 6-hour chart, a potential ascending triangle. We're looking to, there it is. That is where it all starts. And we've gotten a confirmation, at least on the short term, a bullish cross above this upper trend line. You could see it's so close to 75% to the apex of this ascending triangle, which is, as we're approaching the apex, is very much anticipated a breakout one way or another to the upside or downside. So currently what we're going to look at for the very short term, right now, Bitcoin at the 200 moving average on the 6-hour chart, oftentimes Bitcoin sees resistance at that 200 moving average, this red line historically. So we're going to look at, on the short term, is Bitcoin going to break that, right? Right now, currently right around 93.77 or so. And on the downside, if Bitcoin consolidates a little bit, what will support look like at this upper trend line right around 92.77 to 9300? That is the area I like to watch for potential consolidation and a bounce off. That is the major confirmation, the conservative confirmation that I look for continuation. The best case, I would love to see Bitcoin break this 200 moving average, because if we go over here to the daily chart, we start seeing, okay, what's Bitcoin really looking like? Here's the larger symmetrical triangle we're tracking. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for a breakout to its target, 9,700 or so on this small ascending triangle, so that Bitcoin can test the upper trend line right around 9,700 of this larger symmetrical triangle, because we know the symmetrical triangle breakout is 11,000 plus. So it's baby steps, right? Like one step at a time here for Bitcoin. Interestingly enough, as Bitcoin is seeing potential resistance here at the 200 moving average on the 6-hour, we go over to the daily and we see there's confluent resistance here at the 50 moving average, this blue line on the daily chart. That is a major indicator that we love to use on this channel. So Bitcoin breaking to the upside even more right now would be huge to break this 50 moving average on the daily chart. Then we would be starting to look at this $9,700 for resistance, and what does Bitcoin do there, right? Especially considering in this symmetrical triangle, again, we are pretty much approaching the 75% area to the apex of this triangle. So we're waiting for a breakout of this triangle. So there's so much happening right now in the short-term charts. We're getting very close to a big move as we've been tracking and watching Bitcoin on these charts. So we will continue to track it, but it really does start here on the 6-hour. What I want to talk about too is really what I mentioned in the beginning of this video. This is all like the beginning stages, right? It's one step at a time, starts on the micro charts, but as we zoom out on the charts, and you can see here's a symmetrical triangle we're trying to break to the upside, but as we continue zooming out, now on the daily, we can go to this chart, you start seeing the larger symmetrical triangle that we're ultimately trying to get to, right? We have that breakout target up here around that upper trend line of the symmetrical triangle. This is what many people are hoping Bitcoin breaks. The upper trend line here, this symmetrical triangle goes all the way back to November 2017. So I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and I'll kind of just read this tweet to you. I tweeted this yesterday. I was trying to tweet about this and I kept messing up, but point is, strong case for a $20,000 Bitcoin by September. I'll do a video on it tomorrow. There's a strong case. I'm not sitting here as a YouTuber telling you Bitcoin's going to hit $20,000 by September, but there is a very strong chance that it does. And a world where we're living in, Bitcoin is trading at $20,000 in 2 months from now doesn't surprise me at all. It would not surprise me at all. If we hit targets to the downside, that wouldn't surprise me at all. If this entire pattern fails and then we're starting to look at targets to the downside, right? We know on this pattern here that we've been tracking, this symmetrical triangle, we have a breakout target of around $7,800 to the downside, right? So that wouldn't surprise me. But let me make my case for the $20,000 Bitcoin. This is really important. This is on the macro zoomed out weekly chart. Check it out. This is what we're looking like. What I want you to just focus your attention on is this 50-week moving average. It's important on the daily, but it's just as important on the weekly because it really, really helps in the cycles of Bitcoin and identifying key data points and areas on the charts that we need to watch. In this case, this 50 moving average, Bitcoin just trickling along right now. You can see it on the charts. And that's important because Bitcoin supports around this 50-week moving average, even during consolidation, which we've had really for the last couple months. You can see it, just this consolidation here. Important to see support there, and Bitcoin is. Now, if we expand this and we look at some momentum oscillators, like what is Bitcoin doing from a momentum perspective? Is it overbought? Is it oversold? What's going on? We really get an idea of the potential for upside for Bitcoin from where we're standing. And right now, there's a ton of potential for 100%, 200% plus gains for Bitcoin from where it's trading. It's not like we're overbought on the weekly. And when I say overbought, I'm saying, we're trading up here somewhere and there's a strong likelihood Bitcoin's going to consolidate. We're actually at a really key area right around 52, 53, this yellow line on the RSI chart, this momentum oscillator. And I go back, right? And historical data is so important to the way we chart on this channel. A lot of people don't agree with it, but we've been using it for years, and it's been so helpful in determining the possibilities that lie ahead and really giving us something to be ready for. And here we are. Let's go back to just this first area back here. This was actually shortly after the last halving. Bitcoin consolidated down really quickly. You can see it on the charts. It didn't hit the 50-week moving average. It hit right above, right after the last Bitcoin halving, 2016. And from there, it went up, right? That was the beginning of Bitcoin going into its all-time high over the next year and a half or so. But the thing going on here is you see Bitcoin bouncing off of this 52, 53 line or so on the RSI, on the weekly charts, right? That's number one. Number two, I have another data point that we can look at is Bitcoin, again, right around the same area on the weekly, meaning we're trading right about at the 50-week moving average, in this case below. So Bitcoin breaking above it was a huge moment for Bitcoin. This was in the spring of 2019. But again, Bitcoin consolidating briefly at this 53 line on the RSI and then making a move up. And you can see the gains for Bitcoin each time. And if I just expand the chart and we take a look at what the gains looked like, from this swing low Bitcoin had in the summer 2016 to shortly after, you can see, going all the way to the bull market high, we're looking at like 4,000%, right? That was the entire bull market. But even to its first swing low before maybe a 30% consolidation, Bitcoin saw 141% gains over that time. Now, if we go back, we look at what did Bitcoin do after we broke above this 50-week moving average. You can see last spring right before summer, 168%. So call it 170% gains, right? So Bitcoin, long story short, trading right around the same area on the RSI. You can see it here, right around where we are right now. Even overbought on this weekly stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator, can be deceptive. Bitcoin was just overbought. We're actually slightly lower, which is good. But even when the stock RSI is overbought on the weekly, there is still could be a lot of potential for upside. So Bitcoin trading at this very similar area as it was back in 2016, back in 2019 on the weekly, and now there goes my alarm, and now, right? So if we're looking at Bitcoin, what it could potentially do next, right? And we can even actually we can take this and speculatively see what Bitcoin did last time to its swing high, and we can just chart it. If Bitcoin makes a bullish move, right? Here we go. This is what it looks like potentially, $20,000 plus by September into October. Do we see consolidation after? Potentially, right? This is so speculative, but the possibilities here are 100%, I don't want to say likely, but 100% possible. The possibilities are possible, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying. What I'm charting speculatively is possible, and we have to take into account the fact that just as possible as these bullish charts look, there are bearish scenarios as well. And I just want to throw that out there. Bitcoin is bullish long-term, in my opinion, but there's a lot of risk when investing in the charts, and those risks carry a lot of downside. So be careful out there. Take the data I'm giving you and other YouTubers, the videos they're doing, and just take it all in, absorb it, and make your own decisions, right? Anticipate everything and expect nothing on these charts, and I think you'll do fine. So this is the scenario for Bitcoin to hit $20,000 by September. Wouldn't surprise me at all, and it all starts here on the 6-hour chart. Currently, Bitcoin breaking through an upper trend line on a very simple looking ascending triangle. What happens next? We track it on this channel. On the short term, let's see. Bitcoin currently right at resistance at the 200 moving average on this 6-hour chart. And we know right at the 50 moving average on this daily chart resistance. Let's see what Bitcoin can do in the hours to come and what happens. Do we see resistance or do we see Bitcoin breaking through? If you're here right now, again, hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. Let me know your thoughts, comment below. Let me know what you think will happen next, and hit the like button on the way out. That means a lot. And turn the notification bells on. Everybody, I will see you in the next video. I appreciate you. Have an awesome night, and God bless.